Hi guys, this is your instructor Ashish. I am recording this video to give you some instructions, some help with the chapter 6 assignment. Let's go to the modules page and as you have noted, for every week in which we have an assignment, programming assignment, I do post this assignment aid video with all the details in it. So for week 11, you have week 13, you have chapter 6 assignment, which is basically the last chapter for our online class, and the assignment for chapter 6 includes exercise 6.9, 6.10 and 6.12 on page 238. When we look at 6.9, we have the ebook open here, so we can take a look at the assignment. The 6.9 is rounding numbers. Math.floor is a utility that can be used to round values to the nearest integer. Example is, if we write like this, then the value of x variable will be rounded to the nearest will be rounded to the nearest integer by using this line as you note here. We'll round a number x to the nearest integer and assign the value to the y variable. We need to write an application that reads double values and use the preceding statement to round each of the numbers to the nearest integer. For each number processed, display both the original number and the rounded number. So that's what we need to do. There is a math class provided by the Java original framework, and there is a method called floor. There is another method called ceiling, which actually rounds the number to the highest number. If we use x plus 0.5, we will get the floor, or as in a room, we have the floor and we have the ceiling. So this is what we need to do. In order to process the work, we shall open the Eclipse interface, and this is week. Let me select my workspace for one last time, and we will open the Eclipse interface. This is week number 13. So let's just say this is a Java project for week 13, because we'll have 3 assignments. I'm not going to put any others later information after that. We'll click next and we'll press finish. Here we have the source folder is open and it's empty. We will right click as always and add a class. The class we would like to do is for the exercise 6.9, which is rounding numbers. We can say exercise 6_9 or exercise _6_9, and we do want public static void main, which enables us to run this particular class. We will press finish, and here we have the empty code written for us. Because we'll be accepting the input from the user, we will say import java.util.scanner, and we will use it. So we'll say scanner, we will give it the name input is equal to new scanner, and please read from the standard input mechanism, enable us to read everything we want. Okay, before we start the work, we shall just say some helpful statements. So we shall say please enter decimal numbers only, full stop, and a semicolon. System.out.println to display in a new line. We shall say to terminate the app, press Control Z on Windows and Control D on Mac or Unix. These are some standard mechanism to terminate the application. Okay, let's just fix the spelling mistake here. And here we have 2 lines of code, just output statements giving some information to the customer. And what we will do is we'll use a while loop with input dot has next as a keyword, which enables us to keep reading until we reach the end of the code. And we shall say I want to declare a double variable by the number x, and we would say, hey input, give me the next double because we want to read as double. And what we should do is we want to display the output to the customer, the original number as well as the floor or the rounded. So we shall say printf. Why printf? Because we would like to display it, much more formatted. So we will say number entered is a colon symbol and %f for floor or decimal, \t for a tab, and we should say math dot floor x plus 0.5, which is basically what we are displaying would be an order, and we should just get a new line. So we shall have this, and the first number we want to display is x. The second number we want to display is math.floor x plus 0.5, and this is what we would like to display. We will put a semicolon, and here we have our application done. Pretty much we are just getting x and displaying x along with the floor method outcome. So if we run our application, we will be asked to say, please enter decimal numbers only. To terminate the app, press Ctrl+Z on Windows and Ctrl+D on Mac or Unix. We'll say, hey, how about 3.3? 3.3 plus 5 is 3.8. So the number is entered is 3.3 and the floor shall be 3.0. If we enter 3.4, same output. If we enter 3.5, we will have 4 because 3.4 plus 5 is going to be the floor, which is 4. If we enter 5.4, it will be 5. 5.5 will be 6. 5.6 will be 6. 5.7, 5.8, 5.9, 6.1, and so on. Okay, so this is the application. To exit, we may press Ctrl+Z on the keyboard and the application will kind of end, which will not run. If you try to press anything, it will not do any further. So this is the code for the exercise number 6.9. The 6.10, which is the second one you need to do, is very similar but a slightly different application. To round numbers to specific decimal places, use a statement like this: math.floor x into 10 plus 0.5 divide by 10, which round x to the 10th position. That is the first position to the right of the decimal. Or y is equal to math.floor x into 100 plus 0.5 divide by 100 will round to the 100th position. That is the second position to the right of decimal point. Write an application that defines 4 methods for rounding a number x in various ways: to the whole integer, like we just did in 6.9, to the 10th, to the 100, to the thousands. For each value read, your input should display the original value, the number rounded to the nearest integer, the number rounded to the 10th, to the 100th, and the number rounded to the thousands. So this is what we need to do. Folks, in order to simplify a little bit, I'm going to use the same particular code that we have written and perhaps use a little bit of it. So we will right click on source, click on new class, and we shall say exercise _6 _10. Yes, we would like public static void main, so we can run it. And here we have empty. All right, we do want to accept input, so we will say import java.util.scanner, and within the public static void main, we will not have anything to begin with. We would like to create another class which will say public static double, and we shall say round to integer. It takes a double as a number and it does something. What does it do? It simply returns something back to the customer. It returns math.floor within parenthesis number plus 0.5 or 0.5 as you see suitable. This is one. We will have public static. Why are we using static? So that we can use this particular method without having to create an instance of our class. When something is static, you don't need to create an instance. That's why this main method is always comes with a static word. Okay, this also will take double number, and it shall also have the same kind of return statement, which would say math.floor. But mind you, we are going to say, hey, number multiplied by 10 plus 0.5 divided by 10, and then return that particular output to the customer, okay, or the calling method. We will have public static double is the return type, and return to 100th position. And we shall have a double number as the incoming parameter, and what will be returned? Same thing as above, math.floor. In here, one shall be careful that we will say number multiplied by 100 plus 0.5 and then divide by 100 and return this. Similarly, we want to have one more, so let me just make a copy of it. To say return to 100, we will have return to thousands as follows: thousands, and we will multiply by 1000, we will divide by 1000. So these are the helper methods that we have written to integer, to 10, to 100, to 1000. And we shall do the same thing within the public static void main, whereby we shall say what we have done in the previous one. To some extent, I'm just going to copy this, or perhaps just few first 3 lines, and then use it as just some structure, right? To enter decimal and give us the output. We shall use while input dot has something to process. That means somebody has not terminated the application by using Control Z or Control D. We would like to keep running our application, and we will say double x is equal to input dot next, input dot next double, give me the double, and let me display it back to the customer with different options. Okay, so we shall say system.out.printf, system.out.printf, we shall say system.out.printf, and you may remember every time I use system.out.printf is to display the information more properly. So we say the number entered is with a colon symbol, and whenever we need to substitute something, we need to say %f, and %n is for a new line, basically to start so everything else in the new line. And we will say replace that %f with a particular number, which is the x symbol. And we will have another one, system.out.printf. We will say rounded to integer is with, once again, %f, %n. And what should we replace the %n with? We want to say round to integer x. Whatever is returned by the round to integer, that is what we would like to replace the information with. Follow me, guys? So here we have a little bit, we have the x symbol here, which is what we are supplying and getting the output. Let's do once more. within quotation mark, rounded to 10th is colon symbol, %f. Colon is for just display purposes, nothing else, and we would say round to tenths. This is a method I have in my code and I would like to utilize it. Let's fix the spelling so all the errors shall disappear. And system.out.printf rounded within quotation mark 200ths is %f, %n, and where should I get this? I have a particular method which helps me round the number to the 100th position. And finally, I have another method which will help me to round the numbers to thousands position, %f and %n, another %n this time. Why? Because if I run my application multiple times, I would like to have, let's fix the name of this to say round 2, round 2, round 2, similar format, and round to thousands, making sure the name is correct, and a semicolon in the end. So this shall enable us to get a number, display the original, to round it to integer. Let's fix the spelling here. Round it to 10, to 100, to thousands. We shall run it. And we are asked to say which one. Yes, 6.10 is what I want to run. And we are asked to enter a number. We shall say 3.3. And the number entered is 3, rounded to integer is 3, rounded to 10th is also 3.0 to 100 and also the thousands, because it's the same. Now what we shall do is we will try another mechanism to display something which is like 3.42, and here we have 3.42. The number entered is 3.42. When it is rounded to the integer, it's this. When it is rounded to the 10th position, is 3.0, and similarly we have the other outcomes also present. Are we together on all of this? So we are, let us say Control Z, and we will study our code one more time to make sure we haven't missed anything. Here we are getting the floor of add up these numbers with the parenthesis, divided by 10, and return the output generated by floor of number, and we shall ensure that we are not missing a parenthesis. There is one open parenthesis, there is another open parenthesis, so there should be two. We shall do it like this. It seems we actually ended up with incorrect set of parentheses, so we are fixing the extra parenthesis based upon the debugging or the execution of the code we did. We are saying return everything that is within the parenthesis. So here is the definition of my parenthesis. Math.floor, take the number, multiply with 10, add a 5.5 to it, and then divide it by 10. So we should have one close parenthesis in the very end before semicolon, which shall be in another close parenthesis. There are two open parentheses, one after floor and one after the word return. Let's run it this time and see if we get our output correct. I want to say 3.3, and here we have, when we round the number to integer, it's 3. When we round to 10th, it is 3.30, 100 3.3, and thousands is 3.3. We shall say 4.7. And when we round to integer, it is 5, otherwise it is 4.7 all across. We shall say 4.78. And here we have 4.8 is the 10th position difference. The hundred and thousands are the same. Let's say 4.782. And here we have the 10th is 4.8, 100th is 4.78 because 2 is less than 5, so therefore it happened. When we say 4.7899, we shall have 5, 4.8, 4.79 and 4.79. See, this is correct and it's working correctly, it's behaving correctly. We can press Ctrl Z to stop the application. Because I am on a Windows computer, I shall press Ctrl Z to terminate it. This is the code for the exercise 6_10 or 6.10. The third is 6.12, which is down below in my ebook. And here we have 6.12. We need to write an write statement that assign random integers to the variable n in the following range, somewhere between 1 and 2, 1 and 100, 0 and 9, 1000 and 1112 and stuff like that. Okay, so what we should do is we will write another piece of code. We will right click on source, use the new class and give it the name exercise _6_12. We want public static void main, and here we have we should use import java.util.random. Random number creation is a very common procedure used in coding, therefore this is covered in this particular assignment. And to use random, we shall say my random as a variable that we can use to generate random numbers from Java provided random class. Okay, first we need to display system.out.println, a new line, and we shall say 1 plus random dot my random dot next int and 2. What this will do is we are adding 1, so whenever we get a number less than 2, we will add 1 to it, so it will always be between 1 and 2. We will use similar manner. We will say system dot, excuse my spelling mistake, system.out.println. In this case we will say 1 plus my random dot next integer within 100. Why am I saying 100? Because we would like the number to be less than 100 or between 0 and 100. To ensure it's between 1 and 100, we are adding a 1 to it explicitly. Third one is to between 0 and 9. So in this case we will say system.out.println. I do not want to add anything and give me a number which is less than 10. Therefore next integer, let's fix that, and therefore a number between 0 and 9 will appear, which is what we were asked to do. For the next one, we are asked to do between 1000 and 1112. So in this case, what we should do is we will say, hey, give me a number. I shall add 1000 to it to set my lower range, and on the upper range I shall say 113. Why? Because it's right before that, and therefore I will have a number which will be between 1000, not 100. There we go, 1000 and 1112. How about that? The next one is system.out.println, and this time what shall we do? We need to look for our -1 to 1. So we shall say, hey, I want to add -1, and my random generator, give me a next integer, and the number that you shall give me should be somewhere like less than 3. Why less than 3? Because it will be 2 and I am subtracting 1, so it should be between positive 1 and negative 1. The last one is minus 3 and 11. So let's take a look how we will do it. System.out.println, and we shall generate between minus 3 and 11. So we will say minus 3 plus my random, that is my instance of the random class, and I would like to give me something which is less than 15. Why 15? Because 15 minus 3 will be 12, and it will be somewhere between up to 11, because when we say 15 we will get less than 15, so therefore it will be 14. And 14, if we end up getting 14, and if we get minus 3, 14 minus 3 will be 11, so we will get something between 11. Let's run it. This is a random number generator, and our output should be 2, 67, 7, 1109, minus 1 and minus 2. Minus 1, is it in this range? Yes indeed. Minus 2, is it in this range? Yes indeed. And here we have the code for our application, which is 6_12 or 6.12. There are 3 coding assignments: 6.9, 6.10 and 6.12. You may have noticed me complete those 3 assignments. When you have done it, you may please post it on submit it under chapter 6 assignment for week 13, which is the last week for the assignment. If you have done everything, you may submit it. If there are more help you need, as always, my phone number, email and other details are here to contact me. I hope this video was useful, folks. If you need me to do any other assistance, if you want me to do some more coding for other assignments, please reach out to me. Thank you.